Hi guys, my name is Petra Gammon from Tunxis Community College, and this is my project on the song Pyramid. On July 10th, 2012, Frank Ocean released his debut album Chanel Orange under Def Jam Recordings. Each of the 17 tracks embodies different elements of R&B and hip-hop, providing individual sonic identities that helped redefine boundaries of both genres. Spanning 17% of the album's runtime, Pyramid draws heavily from ancient Egypt, rewriting Queen Cleopatra's story as a modern-day tale, using jewels as a metaphor for her purity that became tarnished by the rampant exploitation of women in the entertainment industry, functioning as an allegory for power, prostitution, and the monetization of female sexuality by men. Explicitly sensual, its layered symbolism and distinct shift in lyrics and tone invoke lingering sadness as the song continues. These changes happen while transitioning into three major sections, one for each of Cleopatra's lovers. Following his departure from Odd Future, this solidified Frank's ability to flourish on his own. His sophomore album Blonde has reached a higher level of clinical acclaim. Since then, a third has been continually teased. Themes are lust, love, power, history, nightlife, sex work, exploitation. Lovers are scorned lover, pimp, wannabe lover. Symbolism is Cleopatra, main character, pyramid, the strip club Cleopatra works at, jewels, Cleopatra's purity, cheetahs, contrast between the real Cleopatra and modern struggles women face due to sexism, serpents, those who feed into Cleopatra's exploitation and decline, Samson, the last judges of Israelites, thieves, those who rob Cleopatra of her purity. Part 1, setting the scene, betraying her kingdom, scorned lover. Part 2, the glamorized aspects, pimp. Part 3, love outside of work, wannabe lover. Setting the scene, betraying her kingdom. Part 1 presents the plot from the perspective of Cleopatra's scorned lover, likely a man of the same status. The consistent "oh" is weaved between each line, functioning both as a siren call and lustful expression, commanding the cheetahs on the loose. In this context, the cheetah symbolizes Cleopatra's struggle against the sexual temptations being presented. Male figures seeking women to exploit for their financial gain. Her lover attempts to counteract the foreign forces by promising an idealized future of wealth, while others manipulate Cleopatra enough to shake the palace floor. This movement foreshadows the eventual decline of her morals and personal value. Ultimately, she gives in to the cheetahs, betraying her first lover and kingdom. Out of anger, the narrator explains, "How could she turn her back on us?" Unable to comprehend the dramatic changes taking place. Rhetorical, the question, what good is a jewel that ain't still precious? Using jewel as a symbol for her purity. In a historical context, this mirrors the collapse of Cleopatra's kingdom after her suicide, irreplaceable to this day. Discovered laying with her first client Samson, it marks a point of no return. Tensions between Egypt and modern-day Israel have been on the rocks for centuries, with Egypt actively working to dismantle its neighbor. Officially a traitor, these actions set up the narrative for Section 2, labeled the glamorized aspects. The end of Section 1, the once electric beat begins to fade into a slower tempo, sounding hazy and drawn out as the transition into modern day concludes. Awaking outside of her tomb next to one of the cheetahs, she emerges one bad dream while walking into another. Frank Ocean intentionally kept the present woman identity vague to represent how women in the sex industry are viewed as replaceable. So, let's call her Cleopatra. She trades linen clothing for a scandalous uniform fit for a shift at the pyramid. In this context, a pyramid is a strip club. Hitting the strip, however, may have a double meaning given American laws surrounding prostitution. Legal in Nevada, Cleopatra likely works on the Las Vegas Strip. Maintaining the desert theme, her pimp indulges in the city's lavish lifestyle. Symbols of wealth like top-floor motel suites and an 80s-style ruby chain help inflate the pimp's ego. These jewels shine bright in the light, reflecting the positives of fast money. Another flex is being able to say, "Got your girl working for me," to the other men, possibly a clap back at another man she's involved with. Trapped in a cycle, many find themselves in too deep with their pimp. The line, "Keep a bills paid," shows their toxic relationship. Love outside of work. By part 3, Cleopatra has become accustomed to the fast-paced lifestyle. Sonically, it mirrors part 2, acting as a B story. Despite the ambiguity from parts prior, this is definitely the same woman who woke up in the motel in part 2. This wannabe lover by saying, "Got your girl working for me." Neither seem to mind. The lines 6, 7, "The way you say my name makes me feel like I'm that while I'm still unemployed," shows this relationship isn't transactional. A skilled prostitute can make any client feel like they're king, but only if they're able to pay. Deepened by, "But your love ain't free no more," is tension, suggesting her current lover can no longer handle the new version of Cleopatra. That girl is gone. Her jewels have been tarnished. The thieves have won. Smoke and mirrors can only hold up for so long, creating this pathetic scene. The emptiness of hypersexuality is vividly displayed. Any futures of shining are gone. The music video was released on December 23, 2019, over 7 years after the original release of the song. A sudden spike in popularity on the social media platform called TikTok is likely the reason. 2 minutes and 20 seconds in length, the video encapsulates elements from part 2 of the story, the pimp's involvement with Cleopatra's decline. Driving around the desert on a motorcycle, explicit memories of his time at the pyramid flow through his mind that are vulgar and explicit, showing women of color in heart-shaped nipple tassels. All of them fit the look of Cleopatra, fulfilling the narrator's Black Queen fantasy. 1 minute and 48 seconds to its final moment at 2:20 are lyrics from part 3. However, the depictions do not change. For its cultural impact, I have a lot to say. Frank Ocean has had a profound impact on Gen Z and young millennials, redefining hip-hop and R&B. Frank Ocean is a name that has become synonymous with innovation, as a factual statement from a Guardian article I've read, winning him a Grammy in 2013 for Best Urban Contemporary Album. Despite not releasing since 2020, his cultural relevance has only grown. On the right-hand side are quotes real people have posted on social media. A personal favorite of mine is, "I dressed as Cleopatra after hearing the TikTok audio. As someone named Petra, I have in fact thought of doing the same thing, and might do that this year." However, this song is much more than Halloween costume references. It has a deeper meaning. Wanting to branch out on his own was Frank Ocean's main reason for creating Chanel Orange, using it as an opportunity to prove his artistic capabilities as a solo artist. The track seamlessly blends historically inspired tales with his personal experiences, stating in a Guardian interview, "I actually have pimps in my family in LA." Exposed to clubs, drugs, and strippers while living in California created a well-rounded view of the lifestyle and consequences of being a sex worker. Although it's unclear, parts 1 and 2 may be based off of Frank's intimate experiences. An outspoken feminist, his approach to female sexuality isn't from a place of judgment. He actively works to break barriers by wearing makeup during his performances, sharing the same ideals as close friend Tyler the Creator, who does the same but through fashion. In conclusion, overlooking the lyrics, Pyramid is perfect for various situations such as pre-games, study session, and late-night drives. A steady tempo is maintained throughout various beats that work to split the track into modules, one for each of Cleopatra's lovers. Queen Cleopatra is more than royalty in this context, representing all women in the sex industry. The lyrics mention the desirability of women until their purity is viewed as tarnished, leading to a decline in respect. The fruits of her labor primarily benefit those who exploit her, reflecting the fast-paced lifestyles of many on the Las Vegas Strip. The song is deeply expressive while being inherently sexual. Culturally, Frank Ocean's impact has been profound, despite not releasing music for almost half of a decade. Chanel Orange has been influential for 2 generations and will likely inspire youth for years to come. Around Halloween each year, Pyramid becomes the center of waves of Cleopatra-themed content. This is my works cited page. Thank you for listening.